ॐ ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या सम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ समस्तब्रह्मविद्याचार्येभ्यो नमः। अथर्वऋषये नमः। मण्डूकमहर्षये नमः। गौडपादाचार्यवर्याय नमः। आद्यशङ्करसद्गुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ अथ अथर्ववेदान्तर्गत माण्डूक्योपनिषत् शान्तिमन्त्रः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। अथ अलात शान्त्याख्य चतुर्थ प्रकरणम्। Let us salute the Lord and the Guru Parampara, Rishi Parampara, mainly our Guru Acharya Parampara as well as our Mandukya Upanishad Rishi Parampara. One thing we have to understand is that all problems rise out of non-understanding only, and then therefore the second understanding we must have is all problems can be solved only by the understanding. Understanding is the work of the intellect. Other than the intellectual understanding, the other way of getting the things or finding solutions is our attempt of some emotions, but they seldom help us. Very few places only the emotions help us. Rather, when we depend on emotions, they at that level we depend on others only. Somebody else will have to give us those sympathies and all those helps and assurances and encouragements. But when we ourselves become intellectual and start understanding, and the only way is understanding that even the worldly problems also get solved. Till we come to the intellectual level to analyze the problem and find the solution by ourselves in our own understanding, the worldly problems will never end. All any sort of our problems in the world. In the same way, till we use our intellect and look around the opportunities that are given, we will not understand what are the possibilities that are there for us to work and achieve. Some things we may do out of emotion, out of some fascination, out of some type of interest. But when we intellectually understand, like what is the situation in the world around or the nation, and what are my talents and abilities, and then in what way I can help and serve. Here, all it is intellectual. Okay, this is the field where more help is required. I think I can do it. With that intellectual understanding, one can become a wonderful contributor in whatever the way. And finally, what we are studying the Upanishads, all of them are not sentimental or emotional, it's all intellectual. The more we become very subtle and single pointed and sharp in our intellect, that those deeper truths that are there start revealing. If we don't go deeply into that study of the Shastra through intellect, the deep understanding will not come. Then, why these rishis, munis are talking about all these things? What are their consequences in our life? More than all of that, why should we study Shastra? Why should we follow them? Those convictions won't come. The subtle intellect only will understand, and will understand this also, that what our rishis gave as solution through spiritual sadhana are the true solution, pakka solution, ultimate solution. And if somebody is genuine in his intellectual understanding, he will not go for any other achievement in world, nor even spirituality also, anything else other than wanting to know the truth. And one interesting thing is what all these things, the intellect's sharpness to be able to understand and solve the worldly problems of our own, so too the intellect's sharpness to conceive and plan and do something for the world as our service, and intellect's sharpness, subtlety to understand the deeper truths of the Shastra will come to us only when we study Shastra regularly. And that also properly, sincerely, at least for up to some decades, because few years it will take for us to tune only. Then when we start applying our intellect, then all the cobwebs of the intellect will go away. The lazinesses, the lethargies, the distractions of the intellect will go away. And that intellect's slavery to the senses or the mind or the body or the worldliness, it will go away. Then, like the impurities of the gold when go away, the bright, beautiful gold shines out. Then, after so many years, the intellect shines out to become independent, and with the help of the Shastra, starts giving us the greater understandings, greater truths. Such person, once he comes to that level of intellectual living, that too with the spiritual goal, he is slowly transcending all his inner the personal limitations, and he is no more, once he is transcending his limitations, he is a bonding a person of slave to this world. He will discover a different life of himself. They are called as the sadhakas. They are called as the people of achievement, the men of achievement. And in that pursuit, slowly, when the intellect thoroughly understands the ultimate truth, as we are doing through our Shastras, and slowly abides in that and that and that alone, then we will see that peculiar, beautiful thing happening in us. Our identity gets dissolved from the wrong, not self, and we start identifying with the real self. And there we will know how foolish we were earlier, how funny we were that we were inviting our own problems. Whatever we were doing, nothing but inviting problems, nothing but creating bondages only. That will be understood to us when we reach to that level. Like once you discover it as a rope, then we ourselves will feel so funny about ourselves of the past, where we saw the snake and we thought it is real and we were so much frightened. We shouted, we cried, we told everyone also, सांप है बच के रहना. How foolish all that we will feel once we know the rope. In the same way, once we know the truth, all the earlier life of thinking ourselves to be an isolated individuality with all the upadhi, and accordingly connecting with the world with lot of connections and relativity, yes, like seeing the सांप and डरना, या like seeing the silver और उसको पाने की इच्छा रखना, like that we ourselves will feel. Then at that level, whatever the examples that are given in our shastra become our own examples. Whatever the thesis or the theory or intellection we did, it becomes our own. So to whatever shastra is telling us, this is the absolute truth, when you reach you are liberated, that becomes our experience. But all said and done, we must come to the level of living life at the buddhi. intellect. That's why, particularly in the last slokas of Mandukya, the Karikakara is deliberately using the word Buddhaha, Buddhaha, Buddhaha. They are not Buddhistic Buddhas. Buddha means those are getting the Bodha because the Buddhi of them is awakened. Everywhere, Satyasya Satya, Sudhaiva Gamaha, Partho Vatsa, Sudhir Bhokta, Dugdham Gita, Amrutam Mahat. Everywhere we see the Dhi. And Dhiraha, Dhiraha, Dhiraha. This word comes so many times in all the Upanishad. Dhira means the one who is living life with intellect sharpness. That intellect, please remember, has to be trained to think in correct direction. The correct direction is only what Guru says. And Guru is that Guru who only follows Shastra. And Shastra is that Shastra which establishes the ultimate truth. In these three, four things, you have to become pakka. You have to fix in that. Like we are fixed now in that I am a samsari, I am a body, and I'll be suffering only in this world. I'll be irregular only. I'll not attend class. It is my choice. Nobody dare can ask me. I can't surrender to anyone. So many fixations we have. Each one of us. Even God is afraid of coming to us and changing us. This is what we are now. Forget about Guru, even God will not come. From this type of fixation, we have to come to these few fixations. Unless my intellect is sharp, I cannot pierce through the feelings of wrong or misunderstandings to come to right understanding for liberating me. That comes to me only through the satsanga, and that is to be from the Guru, and that Guru is Shastra, and Shastra is only Tattva Jignasa Shastra, not anything. Some good title is there, don't just read that. That is for common people who don't have a acharya like me, for you, who don't have acharya as you have, who will tell you ki don't waste time in all those things. Sat Shastra, Sat Guru, Sat Sangha, Sad Vichara. This is the only way. Having said this very important thing today, because we should not fool ourselves in the month of April. Anyway, March, we tried to march as much as we could. So the new month starting, this entire month should be full of intellection, full of higher understanding, full of that Gambhirata gained out of our understanding, where we have committedly decided for ourselves that we are no more suffering the pangs of emotions or the attachments or any disappointments in the world. I'll understand everything, and in the understanding, solution comes. What is the solution? There is no problem in this world to suffer. It's only a situation. इस तरह से बुद्धि विकसित होता रहता है. Okay, now let's come to our Mandukya Upanishad. Alatha Shanti Prakaranam. This 87th mantra we have seen yesterday exhaustively. 88 also we saw. In that, what was told to us was ki savastu sopalambham cha dvayam laukikamishyate avastu sopalambham cha shuddham laukikamishyate avastu anupalambham cha lokottaram iti smritam ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च विज्ञेयं सदा बुद्धैः प्रकीर्तितम्. So sada, always buddhaihi, by all the realized saints in all the shastras, prakirtitam, what they did the kirtana of, did the description of, did the glorification of is these four things. Ki, there is jnanam, there is gneyam cha, and also there is vigneyam. So we saw yesterday very exhaustively what is jnanam, what is gneyam, what is vigneyam with the help of the bhashya. Sada buddhahi prakirtitam. Sa upayam paramartha tattvam laukikam shuddha laukikam lokottaram cha kramena yena jnanena jnayate tad jnanam. These are the five things. When it is known, it is called as jnanam. Gneyani etani trini eva trini. ज्ञेयम एतानि एव त्रीणि एतद् व्यतिरिक्तेन ज्ञेय अनुभवतेः सर्व प्रावादुक कल्पित वस्तुनः अत्र एव अंतर्भावात्. So this each of the line are so pakka perfect complete sentences. So you need we gave yesterday very beautiful 10 minutes introduction. If you listen, we said ki this also is called as jnanam, this also is called as jnanam, this is also jnanam. No, no, no. According to Mandukya Karika, Kara and Bhashyakara, the Jnana means knowledge about Paramartha Tattvam and also along with its Upaya, Paramartha Tattva ka Jnana और उसको पाने का उपाय, फिर लोक second one is Shuddha Laukika, then Lokottaram. All these five things systematically understanding their position and validity is called as Jnanam. This is the meaning of Jnanam, first thing. Then in the second line of the mantra, Jnana matlab pancho cheeze. Then what is Gneyam? Will become little sharp. In the Gneyam is these three things. Laukikam, Shuddha Laukikam, Lokottaram. Why it is Gneyam? Because it is known. It is known by whom? By everyone. Now be attentive. All those four pravadukas who were talking about asti nasti, asti asti, nasti asti, these four fall in this category only as the Gneya Vastus. Gneya. Gneyam etanyeva trini, then etad vyatirekena Gneya Anupapattehe. Other than this, Laukika, Shuddha Laukika, Lokottara means Jagras and Swapna and Sushupti. There is no fourth thing that is to be known. To be known is called Gneyam. So knowing all the five is Jnanam, general knowledge, to be had by a spiritual seeker. Among that, now coming to the discussion of meditation, these three things are the Gneya Vastus. The three worlds, because we are aware of all three. Jagrat sabko pata hai, Swapna sabko pata hai, Sushupti sabko pata hai. And there is no fourth thing which is Gneyam. Please remember. There is no fourth thing which is Gneyam as the thing to be known as other than me. Be attentive. Then what is that by which all these three are known, which cannot be known by anything else, which will never become the known for anything else? That is what the ultimate truth. We call it as Vigneyam. So the second line was says, these Buddhai Prakirtitaha, the wise people finally have conclusively said these three. There is one thing is Jnanam, in that the five things will come. In those five things also, the three fall in the category of Gneyam. In that Gneyam only, everything is there. There is no fourth Gneyam. And in that only, whatever the Pravadukas talk, those who are the Mithya Darshanikas, not the Paramartha Darshanikas, their subject matter is only of that type. Okay, उसके बाद then अत्र एव अंतर्भावात्. Then what is Vigneyam? Vigneyam is Paramartha Satyam, Turiyakyam. Then Advayam, Ajam Atmatattvam iti Arthaha. That which is called as Turiya in compared to the other three, and that is one without second Advayam, and that which is Ajam, therefore unborn and undying also, and it is your own self, Atmatattvam iti Arthaha. So keep in your intellect's sharpness this thing. There are so many things in the world which we try to know, the physics, chemistry, maths, all other little things. कुछ कुछ पूछते क्या है बताओ, you keep on asking. But real jnanam is knowing these five. What is what there? First is the laukikam. There is a waking plane we are experiencing. Then there is Shuddha Laukikam, the dream we are experiencing. And also the Lokottaram Nidra. Then apart from this, there is Paramartha Vastu. Then there is a Upaya to know that Paramartha Vastu. Having the clarity about these five is called real Jnana. Among that, in the Laukika Sthiti, called as Jagradavastha, then you have bits and pieces of so many knowledges for conduction in the day-to-day Vyavahara. That's a part of waking world. That need not be much given importance when we think about the entire picture of what are the five things which make up Jnana. Among them, the three are Gneya Vastus. The Laukikam, Shuddha Laukikam, Lokottaram, Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti. And always while saying so, there is no fourth thing which is other than these three falling in the category of Gneyam. ये सबसे याद रखना, सिर्फ ये तीन ही ज्ञेयम है, जागृत, स्वप्न, सुषुप्ति. There is no fourth object of knowledge. Then anybody's philosophy falls in only these three, not beyond. We have to understand. That's what he says. Sarva pravaduka kalpita vastunaha atra eva antarbhavat. Whatever the philosophy, darshana they talk about something in terms of Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti only. They have not gone beyond it. Clear? Now, Jnanam is 5, Gneyam are 3. No, among those five, one is Upaya, the other one is there, that is called as Vigneyam. Vigneyam. Now, Vigneyam word, the moment it is used, immediately we have to feel for that word. What is that? First, understand the word Gneyam. Gneyam means what? It is known by you, it is an object of knowledge. Vigneya means what? Know it not as an object of knowledge, but it is ultimate, it is a subject. Me. That me, we should know. That we should know our own me is specifically worded here as Vigneyam. बाकी सब ज्ञेयम है. In that the Gneyam of the other things, there is a Gneyam and Jnata. I am the knower as a consciousness. They are all known by me, the Gneya Vastus. I am conscious of Jagrat. Is it not? I am conscious of Swapna. I am conscious of the Nidra. So they are all the Gneya Vastus. I am the knower, conscious or awareness. Now this Vignayam is what? There is no something other than me. It is me I have to know. And that is called as Vignayam Paramartha Satyam. Every word, once we come to the Mandukya level, and here we have to pause and feel for that word, having known the meaning. Parama Artha Satyam means what? It is the supreme most truth, reality. This is called as Turyakhyam. This is the fourth. Why fourth we have to say? Because whatever the Lakshanas, Gunas are there in the Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, none of them are in this. Second is what? They all depend on this, but this doesn't depend on that. Third, if you mix up them, connection, if you establish between them, which is invalid or not possible, then you will not be able to recognize it. There is Karya Karana Sambandha between these three avasthas. That's Sushupti avastha is Karana because there are Bijas in that. From that Karana, the Jagra Swapna come out. Therefore, they are called Karya or the effects. And then again, whatever we are doing in Jagra Swapna, they are the ones becoming the impressions in the Nidra avastha. So, they are all of one plane. While all this drama is happening at the level of ignorance and the influence of the Maya, what's happening to the self? It is not involved in any one of them by any means, nor it is being touched by them, tarnished by them, troubled by them, disturbed by them. It is something exclusive, something different. That's why to separate from them, it is called as a fourth. This word fourth is again and again used to say that it is separate from other all these three, and to reach to that, those three have to be rejected. And this Majidar Baat is on one, this Turiyakya Atma is recognized even as Jagara Swapna Sushupti me, whatever was there earlier, taken as real and taken as other than this conscious self, is found to be this and this and this alone, interpreted as if separate from this. Imagined as if separate from this, and imagined as if existing independent of this. Like we talk the water and wave. It's only in the mouth that there is a talk that water and wave. And water only appears as the wave. Wave is only an expression. Wave, every wave has a substratum as water. These are all the talkings, they are all prakriyas. Finally, when you transcend the waviness and see the water, there's nothing called as wave other than apart from independent of water. There's only water. There's nothing called as wave other than independent. Then what is wave? Water only appearing in a peculiar condition. So to what the entire world of grossness, subtleness, individual, total, a conditional appearance of the same Paramatma. That conditioning is called as the Maya outside, Avidya inside. When the Maya Avidya gone away, that appearance is accepted as appearance, not as real. Then its presence and absence doesn't affect the reality. When the water appears as a wave or doesn't appear as the wave, water has no problem. Then the samsaratva, when it goes away, then presence and absence is not a big issue. Our problem is we have to rise above this samsara, the dukkha. Dukkha happens because of nama rupa. And nama rupa का तत्व जब जानने से, नाम रूप मिथ्या पता चलने से समस्या चला जाता है. Once the problem is solved of dukkha, born out of ignorance, when with the wisdom, the ignorance has gone away, problem sorted out, then the appearance, disappearance won't bother at all. Once you know the gold, whether you make it as a bangle or earring, how does it matter? उसका जो मतलब नहीं है. So here, Bhagavan said to us, Vigneyam Paramartha Satyam Turiyakyam. Paramartha Satyam is, it is absolute truth. What is the truth? Whatever it is, it remains as it is, never ever gets influenced to change to anything. That's called Paramartha Satyam. Turiyakyam is the fourth. Why it is called as fourth, we have explained just now. Then Advayam, such an infinite self cannot be two. It cannot have itself broken into two. There cannot be anything other than it. If other than it is there, then उसमें फिर वही होगा, कौन सा ज्ञेयम कौन सा विज्ञेयम वाला, फिर से प्रॉब्लम होगी. And already all these analyses are done. Then conclusively they said this is such a vigneyam that it never becomes gneyam for something else to know it. That's why it is called as the Advayam. And it was always there, it is there, ever it is there. Therefore it is Ajam. Ajam means neither born with any cause nor it is a cause for anything else. Such is called as Atma Tattvam iti arthaha. And it is so near to us, so close to us, so inside to us. In fact, we are that only. And that's what the power of Maya invoked and maintained by us, that we don't know ourselves and we want to know everything else. Whereas what is there is I alone, there's no thing other than me. देखो ये मजेदार बात. और ये इतने भी बार कहो, सुनो, समझने का कोशिश करो, फिर भी अब पल्ला नहीं पड़ता, वो पकड़ में नहीं आता. यही इस खेल का मजा है. It's only after frustrating us for many, many hundreds of lives, Bhagwan, when we become ardent and when we become true seekers genuinely and emotionally blackmail the God and frustrate in front of Him, cry and all, say that I want to know the truth, know the truth, know the reality, then Bhagwan makes such a small adjustment. With that, the entire curtain goes away, then you see what is the truth. After realizing the self, it appears to be so simple, obvious, just like any puzzle. When you solve it, you understand it's so easy, so simple. सब कुछ इधर ही था. यार वो इधर ही होता है. तुम्हारा दिमाग ठीक नहीं, इसलिए you could not solve it. But once the दिमाग ठीक हो गया, you solved out. It is so obvious. So too, the अनुभव once we get of the आत्मा वस्तु, it is so obvious, so simple. अच्छा ये मैं हूँ. It's like how far is the waker from distance, from the dreamer? Not at all far away. And when you wake up from the dream and little analyze and look back and see, अरे ये कहाँ था, कुछ सत्य था ही नहीं. कितना भयंकर वो स्वप्न था. Whatever good or bad was there, how do we realize? At a fraction of moment and all the thing gets dissolved and entire reality given to that goes away. Now I know that I am a waker. A moment before, in the dream, in the dream samsara or the world, the sweatings, the toiling, the running, the disappointment, the failures, or even successes or achievements, the accomplishments, they were appearing to be so real. And उसमें भागा दौड़ी चल रहा था, व्यवहार चल रहा था, लोगों से बात कर रहे थे हम. How much big drama. The moment you wake up, gone. It's so simple. I'm not a waker. That's it. In the same way, I'm the self. Everything is self. That's it. There's nothing, there's no issue, there's no tension, there's not too much of struggle. But even to experience that, only one thing is we have to be genuine seeker. That is what the Shastra says. Be a genuine seeker. चुटकी भर में आपको रेवलेशन हो जाता है. यमेव एषः वृणुते तेन लभ्यः. Like genuinely Arjuna asked, I want to see your Vishwarupa. Is it possible? Bhagavan understood his genuineness. Immediately, why not? Immediately started showing only. Pashame Partha Rupani Shatashoda Sahasrasha. Even not even he thought whether Arjuna will be fit to see or not. Though Arjuna himself said, if you think I am fit, please show me. Manyasedi tat shakyam maya drashtumiti prabho yogeshwara tato metum darshaya. Atmanam abhyam. Bhagavan, then he understood, Are, he cannot aneneva swachakshusha natamam shakshe drashtum. Then divyam dadamte chakshu pashyame yogam ishvara. चुटकी भर में गुरु ने पहचान लिया भगवान ने वहां कि ये लायक है, सुना दिए, दिखा दिए पूरा विश्व रूप. तो ब्यूटीफुल इट इज. Same way, it's just yameva yesha vrunate. Remember always, what we have to intensify through all our study of Shastra as a result of study of Shastra is the intense longing to be established in our true, real, ultimate self. This is called as Shubhecha. In this only, all our ability to reject the samsara, reject the causes of samsara, adapting the sadhanas, intensely doing sadhana, reaching to the siddha vastu, the self, all of that depends on only how intense, deep, single pointed we are in wanting to know and establish in the truth. That's called Shubhecha. That's called Yamesha, Yamevaisha Ena Vrunute. That is what it's called as Varastume Varaniya Saiva. With all study of Shastra, if the desire to know and establish in truth is not strong, Shastra study has become wasted and never we can get liberated. Be careful about that point. It's very helpful. बिकॉज वो तो हमारे ही अंदर हमारे ही रूप में रहने वाली वस्तु है और उसको बिना मुक्ति तो होगी नहीं और सिर्फ मांगने से मिलता है वो, क्योंकि कुछ करने का नहीं है वो, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हम है वो. It reveals when we desire for it. It need not come from anywhere. There's no time, space, any of the distances that are there in knowing the truth. Because मैं वो already. It's like a simple example. We are already, you are a man or woman, whatever. But we decide to be a mother or wife rather than the woman. Then as a mother and wife, you will always have that condition, the responsibility with the suffering. Where is the wife? Where is the woman? Who is reality in that? She is a woman. Woman is real. Then she is wife or mother. Now, if she asserts herself that I am a woman first, then at this time as a wife I am going through it, but I will reject it mentally. Then she will not suffer. I'm giving an example. There's no distance between. It's only choice. मतलब उसमें दिमाग लगाना पड़ता है. I can't elaborate the example because it gives some bitterness or you may misunderstand or misuse that example. But homework, you can think about it. Is it not? Use all like I am a father, the child is not listening, so I am suffering. So you say this fellow is born a few years back. उससे पहले था ही नहीं. I was never a father before that. Now he is born. No, because of him I am father, but still I am a man. As a man, I don't want to suffer. Therefore, I do my best to him. I will not receive the inflictions which he gives to me. It is my misunderstanding that I want to have authority on him. If I think like that, I'll definitely be miserable. So in the creation, because of some mutual runa or the relation that he has to born through me, is born. So according to our Shastra, he is the son, I am the father. These are the responsibility to be done. Despite of all this, every individual is individual, exclusive to himself with all his prarabdha nature. Therefore, he will conduct in the way he'll have to be just. When my father told me, I never listened to him and I went on growing in my own way. No, these Anushangika Vishayas, but primarily, I am the father of him, a conditional expression that's not ultimate. Other than that, I am so many other also. Husband to the wife and brother to the brother, son to the father, friend to the friend. In so many ways, I am existing, not only as the father of this stupid fellow. Is it not? Even these relations also are conditioning. They also can give me misery if the situation bigad jata hai at that level. As a brother also, I may suffer if the brother is inflicting me. So when we become intellectual and think that way, every suffering is to the husband or the father or brother or the friend, not to the man. And I am man basically. If we strongly that way practice, in that man also, I am a sadhaka. In the sadhaka also, I am the jignasu. In the jignasu also, I am actually the self only. Finally, I am the self, that's it. I am Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma. The more we establish in that, all this drama goes away. But all what we said was last 7 8 minutes is our willingness. If a guru has not strengthened our willingness to discover the self, if the Shastra has not strengthened our desire to know the truth, If the satsanga has not taken us few more steps in our conviction for being the self, then that guru, that satsanga, shastra have not helped us at all. Either the speaker himself may not be that may efficient, or the shastra may not be so strong in conveying that way, or we were sleepy in the class, that we didn't listen. Every class, especially the Upanishad, our longing for let me know what I am real self. I am understanding the body is known to me. I am a knower of it. I am the consciousness, conscious of all that. What it looks like being conscious, being one with that conscious self. The more that desire becomes intense, is it not? Like in life also, when the youngster has become age of 27, 28, फिर भी उसको नौकरी नहीं मिला, how much he becomes restless. यार कुछ ना कुछ मिल जाए, even 5,000 दे दो, 6,000 दो, 10 दो. He says कुछ तो दो मेरे को जाओ हो नौकरी. So too, 36 years are over, marriage नहीं हुआ, and he is interested in marriage or she. How desperate the parent they become. Even anybody शादी कर लो. Don't you see the people? So to those mind is so filled with own house I want it. कुछ भी करके कहीं भी जगह पे इन आउटस्कर्ट्स में भी हो, सिंगल बेडरूम में पहले खरीद दो. बहुत भूख लगा बंदे को, वो नियरेस्ट होटल वट एवर इज दैट यू ब्रिंग लेट मी eat. Don't we see that urge when the desire is strong in all of them? Same way we should have the urge in us. That's called mumukshata. Moksho me bhuyati icha. That should be generated in us. Okay, then the rest will take care. You will not go anywhere else. The moment you get a chance, you close the doors, windows, put on your fan, sit on chair, take the shlokas of Upanishad and go and deeply contemplate. That day by God's gurus and shastra kripa, little bit you are able to do. That's the day's job. Again in the evening, again the next day morning. In this way, little by little, little by little, we become deeper in our understanding, deeper in our conviction, deeper in our contemplation, deeper levels of experience of meditation. At the final stage, then we can touch that core. And that core touching is a miraculous happening. It's something different. It cannot be explained. Like a person dies. I'm saying very bad example I'm giving. Something different experience. Not that I had it and I'm telling you. No one is bound by this Dehadi and all. Is it not? None of the people who are related to him through the Deha are not. Sometime it will be there for 10-12 दिन because of the attachment. But after that it's free, that jiva. उसका वो अलग ही अनुभव है. Nothing of the grossness. According to samskara, till he enters into another gross. यही घूमते हो, दिखते नहीं हमको. In the same way, that freedom, that the discovery of the self is such a beautiful experience. Such a different one, it's a peculiar, unfamiliar to anyone now. That's the biggest problem. Okay? There's no similar or nearest experience like the Atma Anubhava, which can be used as example to explain. By the way. So we are here saying Sada Sarvada Etat Laukika Adi Vigneya Antam Buddhaihi Paramarthadarshibhihi Brahmavidbhihi Prakirtitam. So to this, so many things we can add. I'll not spend much time, more than a minute or two. What I said is Sada means always, Sarvada, Etatu, this Laukikadi Vigneyantam. Starting from the Laukika up to the Vigneya Vastu Taka, Buddhaihi means the Paramartha Darshibi, means Brahma Vidbihi. What is Buddhaihi? Those are Paramartha Darshi. Who is a Paramartha Darshi? According to all the Vedanta Shastras, Brahmavit. So Brahmavidvi Prakirtitam. And what is the Prakirtana they do? As we are doing from last 1 hour. Oh, my dear friend, that Atma self is one without second. Instead of experiencing that as yourself, you have become an individual. As an individual, with identifying with the three upadhis, you are living three lives at three levels or the planes. They are called Jagra, Swapna, and Sushupti. And in those also, in that imaginary world of things and beings, with so much of imaginary relativity, expecting some sukha from that, you are going on struggling. This is happening eternally from so many lives. This is called samsara. You need not that way suffer. Dying and entering into that body is living one town and going to other town because of transfer. You change from this town to the other, but again the work and the workload and the pressures and compulsions, they continue. In this way, in the service of 42 years or 39 years, in so many places he got changed or transferred or promoted. Places changed, people changed, but the struggle and suffering continued. In the same way, you might have changed the place where you are born, maybe different deha, maybe different setup of the people around, but your struggle was continuing. That's called samsara. That need not be your lot, my dear. You can rise above that, you can transcend about it, beyond it. How? By desiringly, willingly focusing on self at the cost of all these three. So this is how conquer Jagrat, conquer Swapna, conquer Sushupti, then enter into Turiya Avastha. So these Buddhaihi, these Brahmavidhihi, these Paramartha Darshivihi, this is how Prakirtitam. Their entire Prakirtanam talking, whether they talk it, whether they advise, whether they give a lecture, whether they write a book, they write this only. There are the three planes in which you are already living familiar to you, they are binding. There's a fourth one which is liberating. For that you have to do this sadhana. और ये सत्य है, ये सत्य है, ये इसी के कारण ये सब है, और इनके इन तीनों के बिना में वो रह सकता है. We don't know that self, therefore you imagine you are a jiva and becoming jagra sapna sushupti purusha. This is what Brahma Vidvis do so much of teaching. Whoever are interested in regularly listening, they also get into the conviction of that. तो यहाँ by saying that Buddhai Prakirtitam, Karikakara is saying that it is not only me, all the awakened realized saints talk in this way only. So therefore, he is adding to his own words the authority of the entire awakened people of the past. By that, he is strengthening this topic. He is authenticating this topic of knowing the truth. All this is doing in contrast with those mithya darshanas, in whose discussion continuously the Dvaita is there. They are rigid in their own conviction. Therefore, they are having ragadvesha with others. Therefore, instead of giving us bliss and liberation, they only bind us into the samsara, because wherever ragadvesha are there, they are samsara. So I am not the only one talking. All the Brahmavidhihi, Buddhaihi, all the Paramartha Darshavihi, this is what is Prakirtitam. And for doing Prakirtana, the two things they have gone through are, first, they also heard from their own gurus and went on struggling for lives together in intellectual conviction, in doing sadhana and experiencing. Second is experienced, and from the experience standpoint, they are talking. कैसा प्रकीर्तन कर रहे हैं वो लोग? पहले गुरु से सुनकर समझकर कोशिश किए, फिर अनुभव में आया. आफ्टर दे गॉट द अनुभव, so they talk that alone as real. You and I now studying Shastra, slowly our intellect started accepting something other than these three planes of experience. Then we have to sit now for years together to pursue that, to reach out to that. When you know that, then you also become the Paramartha Darshi, the Brahma with the Buddhu, not Buddhu, Buddha. Buddha the awakened. Already Buddhu hai. Sada Buddhai Prakirtitam. One Amma, I don't know where is that place. वैसे लेक्चर में कहते, शी टोल्ड मी आफ्टर क्लास, स्वामी डोंट, हमको बार बार बुद्धू मत कहना. शी सेड, ठीक है अम्मा, सत्य बोलने नहीं देते मेरे को. मैंने कहा, शी फेल्ट वेरी बैड. एनीवे, सदा बुद्ध ही प्रकीर्तितम हो गया. नाउ द साधना इज सेड हियर. Very indicatively it is said, we have to find it. The 89th mantra, 90th mantras are important. स्टडी करो पहले. ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञता हि सर्वत्र भवतीह महाधियः. ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञता हि सर्वत्र भवतीह महाधियः. ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञता हि सर्वत्र भवतीह महाधियः. Those mahadhyah, the highly evolved intellects, where intellects have dissolved in the experience of self, which is beyond intellection. Why beyond intellection? Because to experience self, buddhi is not required. It is beyond. It is always there. In the presence of Atma only, even the buddhi is working, doing its work of intellection. Mahadhyah. Now listen carefully. First, we'll explain shloka, then we go through the bhashya. Very interesting, very subtle, very, what I say, logical और बहुत बहुत बौद्धिक वे ये कारिका कारका कहने का स्टाइल. So ज्ञाने, one point, cha, and also trividhe gneye, the three types of gneye vastus, kramena, sequentially, vidite. So this is called sati saptami. Sati saptami means conditionally explaining. You know, when I go there, I do that. So jnane cha trividhe gneye kramena vidite. Conditional clause means sequentially when you know these two sets. No, sequentially when you become aware of these two sets. What are they? One is Jnanam, second is Trividha Gneyam, which is said in the earlier mantra. तो ज्ञानम को और ज्ञेयम को, ज्ञानम एक ही है, मैं जीव हूं, ज्ञेयम मेरे तीन अवस्थाएं हैं, तीन है. क्रमेण विदिते, when they are becoming made awareful by us more and more. There are two things. One is what? Flowing in those experiences. Second is becoming aware. Only this much is the difference between the bondage, the samsara, and the liberation, moksha. When you are flowing with that, you are bound. You are becoming the knower of it, you have started becoming liberated from that. So this is the punchline in that. Kramena vidite. That will be explained in the Bhashya more elaborately for us as sadhana. तब हम देखेंगे. पहले तो यहाँ ये सुनो कि क्रमेण विदिते. Kramena means sequentially, slowly, systematically, when you become the Vidwan or the knower of the Jnanam and all the three Gneyam. So Jnane cha Trividhe Gneye Kramena Vidite. Jnane cha Trividhe Gneye Kramena Vidite. When instead of flowing with them with full identification, when you are slowly becoming the knower of them, witness of them, that's what kramena vidite. अब क्या हो रहा है? We are not knowing it, we are just entering into that. Like I got a coffee desire, so I am not knowing the desire, but I am identifying with the desire and I have become one with it. Then I go to the kitchen, make that your coffee, and I am becoming the drinker of that coffee also. तो इसमें क्या हुआ? That krame vidite है ना, that's compromised with you are identifying with that happening there. What sadhana here Karikakara is indicating is vidite. You become knower of it. Don't observe karo. Don't get flown in that avasthas, whatever they come and pull you in them. Like when somebody says, चलो यार कहीं जाते हैं, चलो तुरंत करके जाना एक चीज है. दूसरा waiting and knowing कि कहाँ जाना है, क्यों जाना है, जाने की जरूरत है क्या. Then you see whether to go or not. You can't take quick decision just like that, ना. कोई चीज दिखाया शॉप में, you don't buy it immediately. You look at it, you see the use of it, cost of it, all that you do. You don't say ले दो पैसे लेके, ऐसे करते हैं क्या? No. But in life, generally what we are doing is when these three avasthas are coming and going continuously, we are just getting flown with them. This is what we are called as samsari. तो जागर अवस्था आया, तुरंत जागृत अवस्था वाले बन गए, वेकर. Dream came, we became dreamer. In the sleep, we are sleeper. There's a possibility. Here Karikakara is saying and telling us, make that possibility possible. What is that? Vidite. He became a knower. That knower only we call at one level as the drashtrutva or the sakshitva. Then he suddenly saying a second sentence. Between these two, there are a lot of gaps to be filled. We will try a little bit. When you become the knower of these three avasthas, these two things, एक में ज्ञानम है, दूसरे में ज्ञेयम है, ज्ञेयम में तीन चीज है. When you slowly क्रमेण वेते, what happens? स्वयं सर्वज्ञता ही सर्वत्र भवति. Then you yourself become sarvagnya and you yourself discover to be existing sarvatra. This sarvagnya and sarvatra is Brahma Tattva. Sarvatra hai, therefore, because it is sadvastu. Because it is sadvastu, it is sarvatra. Because it is Chid Vastu, it is Sarvagnya. So you yourself become Sarvatra Sarvagnya, defining Brahma Vastu. When? When you just become Vidite. So when it is Vidite, Swayam Bhavati. These are the three main words. Vidite Swayam Bhavati. Vidite means when you know. Swayam means yourself. Bhavati means you become. So when you know, you become. When you know what? When you know the Jnanam and Gneyam. Swayam means yourself. Bhavati means what? Sarvagnya and Sarvatra Bhavati. That is Brahma. How it happens, as I said, the in between gaps is what? The more we try to see it without getting flown in that, we develop this Sakshi Bhava. The more we become stronger Sakshi, these things in which we were flowing, forget about flowing, slowly their presence also gets slowed down and dissolved. Then what happens, the intermediate born Jiva who was becoming Jagara Swapna Sushupti, Purushas, he will dissolve. Then you know yourself, that self which is indicated in the Upanishads. When you become the witness of the world, slowly the world's influence stops on us. When the influence stops on us, it slowly disappears. Why the world is appearing and appearing as so real? Because we are only identifying with them. When the identification is reduced by being only a knower, vidite, knower, then the appearance and the appearance is given reality. ये सब चले आते हैं. Why? Because what we studied in last four prakaranas is only this. The entire world is nothing but spandana of the chitta. In trying to become only the knower, not involved with any identity, the spandana aspect is reduced. स्पंदन reduce हो गया तो आभास नहीं रहेगा ना. That's the beauty here. That when the spandana is allowed, the world appears and appears to be so real that we get flown in that. But once we start becoming only the knower, the spandana aspect goes away, then the abhasas dissolve. When you don't move that alatha, there are no abhasas. Then all the enchantment or language or excitement, seeing the abhasas become null and void because वो चीज ही नहीं है. In the same way, the excitements of raga, desha, kama, krodha, angry, jealousy, which were all there in the world when the world was real, they all dissolve along with the world because the abhasa stop. Why? Because spandana is gone away. Why? You just are only vidite. That's why the great saints like Ramana Maharshi, they say only two things. One, just look at the world. Don't get involved in them. Then what? Look at the one who is looking at. Only two sadhanas. पहले दुनिया को देखो, फंसो मत. और देखने से आधा वो चला जाएगा. Then look at the one who is looking at her. When you look at him, you only remain. There is no world. इतना ही ऐसे पूरा दुनिया जिसमें हम इतना फंस कर दुखी हो रहे हैं, उसका इतना ही वैल्यू है. If you are involving, it will bind you so much. If you look at it, its influence gets reduced. And if you look within, it is not there at all. Is it not? When you go to exhibition with a true idea of I am only here to see. You will see all 2000 shops, but then you will not at all disturbed because you came there as an onlooker. But if you come as a buyer, a samsari, then you will be caught up at one shop and bargain and go to the other shop and then compare. I came only to see, exhibit. So to the world is an exhibition. We have come to see it. The moment you want to buy, you become samsari. First thing is that vidite. See, jnane cha trivide gneye vidite kramena swayam. What happened to swayam? Sarvajnatahi sarvatra bhavati. Iha mahadhiyaha. This mahadhiya means that type of power of its standing should be developed in us, that we are seeing the world, but only seeing the world, not labeling it, not saying it as good or bad. No comments are done. No any type of relativity is done. Like when you look at an akash. What is there? You look at it, that's it. That's it, na? It's you look at it. There's no samsara. But again, your intellectual gymnastics starts coming there. Then you think about the variety about the Akash. Then you become emotional. Then you use emotional language to describe the Akash. And if you use the eye and see the blue color, then you describe what a beautiful color. It's of samsara. When you look at the Akasha, there's nothing. You're only looking at it, no? So to the world is there. You look at it, that's it. जो भी है सो रहने दो, but why do you label it? Why do you comment on it? These are all the vasanas which prompt us. Like when you are in the bus or bus stand, 100 people you look at, you don't comment, no? You don't value also. But among them कोई एक दोस्त आ गया, अरे तुम भी आ गए रे भटकती हुई आत्मा भटकते हुए, then you talk. The 70, 80 you don't talk, only to this fellow. And all samsara happens. That's why when you look at the world, there's no problem. When you are carried away, there's a problem. Then you look within, there's no world at all. Are you understanding the load of this shloka? Jnanecha trivide. What is jnana? What is trividgnayam? We have already explained. Again, we'll see. The jnanam is jiva. The jnaya is the three avasthas which the jiva is going through. So I am a jiva going through these three avasthas. Later on, jiva is going through these three avasthas. Later on, I am the witness for these three avasthas and the jiva is going through. A jiva bhava is going. Such jiva bhavas are infinite, they are happening. I am the consciousness who is witnessing this jiva and these three avasthas. I am that consciousness which is witnessing all the jivas and all the three avasthas. That's called as sarvajnata is sarvatra bhavati. Oh, he is not elaborating all that. We have added. He said, well, itna karo. Like doctor will not elaborate all the functioning of the medicine. He said, तुम ले लो बस 3 बार हो जाएगा. और होता भी है वो. So do he says, बस तुम विटनेस करो, देखने वाला बन जाओ, और हो जाएगा. जरा टेंशन ना लो समझने का. और हो जाएगा, तुमको ही समझ आएगा. Some places you have to explain. Sometimes you experience it, then you don't have to explain. A beautiful place. How much are you explain? Still you are unsatisfied, the person is also not clear. But you take that fellow to that place, no need to explain because direct experience. So to the experience of self, that sarvagnita sarvatra is like that. You do this, you will experience it, you know it, I will not explain. And to this Bhashyakara's explanation will be so good for sadhana. So powerful it is. It is very subtle, difficult, but if one is pure in heart, pure seeker, then it's very appealing. Very interesting. यार हम करेंगे ऐसा वाला thought आता है हमको. So Mahadiyaha, for a great person of highest intellection, sarvagnataha sarvatra bhavati. He will come to the experience of self. In this language, here it's called as sarvatra and sarvagnya. Iha means even jivan neva, not a posthumous. It is while living only, he will experience that. But what he has to do? Jnanecha trivide gnane kramena vidite. Move in the world from birth till death, anywhere and everywhere, but only a knower. That's what today, I don't know how it was coincidental. It was not that way deliberately thought of. Today, introduction, we spent 8-9 minutes to think about the intellectual activity of trying to understand, trying to know. When you understand, no problem remains. Problems are in non-understanding, followed by misunderstanding, followed by emotions. That's how we start our intellection today. Same thing here we are in this shloka saying. Look at the world, know the world. That's it. Be an onlooker, not an involver. This is called liberation from the world. Then who is this onlooker? When you think about, then not only liberation from the bondage, but you will experience the self-bliss. But in between what we said theoretically and doing it and practically experiencing, the continuous struggles will be there. Like, I am contesting for election, I have nominated myself, this is my symbol, I paid the deposit money, and I am standing and results will come, I become the MLA. Now, is it so easy as it is said? Is it not? कहने में तो आसान था ना, but उनमें जो जो भी करना है सब करना ही है. First of all, your symbol should be approved. While they look into all the 800 symbols that are used in the entire country in every place, such similarity should not be there. नहीं तो कल को गड़बड़ हो जाएगा वो. Then the credentials of the one who applied, it is seen. कोई चोरी कुछ है क्या? This is only beginning. Then the manifesto. Then you have to bring the people to help you. You have to pour crores of rupees prachar. उसके बाद then so much of campaigning and promises you have to make. Everything is difficult. And the people's minds and nerves, sometimes they appear to be very intelligent, कभी बेवकूफ नंबर बन दिखते हैं. How to convince them? Should my manifesto convince them? Should my powerful speech convince them? Should my finding the fault with the earlier government should convince them? Or should I give them money? अब देखो इतना औजार यूज करना पड़ता है. Yet you can't be sure till the ballots are done and counted and last vote is counted. In the same way, as it is said, just be a knower and find who is the knower. Then you are the Sarvagna Sarvatra Brahma. It is intellectually said, कि I am applying, I paid the deposit, I got symbol, I am standing for election. But जितने ज़्यादा चीज़ें वैसे ही in our life also, the pulls and pushes of the mind, its the habits, they are the ones which won't allow us. They are all the nagging child like. You know, in the child when he's sleeping, how freely, relaxedly the mother does her work. फेल्लो उठ गया मानो अब इतना शैतान है अगर वो और वो 2-3 बच्चे हैं तो देन शी सो restless only in doing her work. So too, we have so many shaitans made in us. The senses want their craving objects. The mind want its own attachments and all the emotions from the world. The intellect want to curious to know everything, not the self. अब इन सब को हमें जवाब देना, इस बच्चे को खुश कर, उसको कुछ दे. A mother will have to pacify all these nonsense fellow, and the husband also there, देवर भी रहते हैं, फिर सासुर जी भी रहते हैं. After making all of them pacified, then she will go to do her work. So to you and I, though are clear that through meditation we have to know the self, becoming meditation worthy is the biggest problem. How much of the ego we have, how much of our own thinking which are contrary to the Shastra in us are there, which we believe more than the Shastra. These are all the impurities. है ना, तमोगुण तो है ही बहुत ज्यादा कि क्लास में बैठो या मेडिटेशन में बैठो पहले नींद आ जाता है. रजोगुण is so influential in us, fluttering at the mind is so many emotions and all. बाप रे बाप रे बाप, ये सब मिलकर आपके क्लास के ज्ञान को ही छुपाते हैं, भगाते हैं आफ्टर द क्लास एवरी डे फॉर यू एंड मी आल्सो. Till the again next class starts, we don't even remember that we are the students of Mandukya Upanishad. Why after the class? Within a minute we become student of Vidurnithi. ये भूल ही जाते. Now, these are all practical things, inevitable for everyone. We have to negotiate through all of them. It's just like I am leaving home, going to office. Not as it is said. Office 12 किलोमीटर दूर पे है, you have to go by road. गलियां इतने होते हैं, heavy traffic, it is raining. You have to go through all that and safely every day. Is it not? I got my child, now I want to make him a doctor or any civil servant. It's not like that. पहले उसको play school में डालो, धीरे धीरे वो बढ़ेगा वो. Is it not? In the same way, let us accept this is what everyone will have to go through difficulty, and we are also ready to go through and go through. Then you will see, you will go through it, into it. Every one of us. So, Jnane cha trivide gneye kramena vite swayam. Swayam sarvagnata sarvatra bhavatiya mahadiha. What is it in our layman's language? Just become the onlooker witness. Don't give importance. By that, the inner vasanas also go away. Outer importance, the world goes away. Once it is done, just close the eyes. Then you will see the self. Like when you are too much involved in the movie while watching TV, movie is also important, real, and sleep also doesn't come. After some time, slowly, the importance given to the movie reduces. We just only become onlooker of it. After some time, because the value is given up, ये आंख ऑटोमेटिक बंद होता है एंड नींद में चले जाते हैं. कितने बार हुआ कि नहीं? Same in the class also. First 20 minutes you listen. That time Swamiji is here. Real class is real. Upanishad is real. You're curious also to listen and understand. After 30 minutes के बाद कौन स्वामी, किसका स्वामी, धीरे from inside you become only onlooker. और देखते देखते आंख बंद, and the ultimate realization. This is what we have to sleep to the world slowly by devaluing the world, then awaken to the self. Now we are slept to the self, awaken to the world by not becoming an onlooker, but by becoming a participant. And you watch a cricket match as an onlooker. You enjoy it, there is no samsara. But when you become a participant as a player or as a person belonging to one group or team or franchise, then you have so much of samsara in that. In the world also, jnane cha trividhe gneye kramena vete swayam. Kramena vete swayam sarvagnatai sarvatra bhavatiha mahadiyaha. So don't get flown into that. In a marathon race, 1,000 people are running. When you look from a platform or a distance, the vision is different. When you are one of them, is the vision. When you are one of them, then you have to maintain the speed. You have to give way to those who are going ahead you. You have to overtake some people. हाथ पैर में धक्का भी लगता है. Because a marathon race, so many thousands are there, and there's a competition. There's a feeling inside. I have to win it. But you are an onlooker here. You are none of the things. The sweating of that, the running of that, the competition of that, the jealousy with the other fellow. All of them are not there when you are only onlooker. So practice same in the entire life. Be an onlooker. Don't be a participant. Become an onlooker even to your own participation according to dharma. Like I am doing this lecture. So to this lecture giving me, I have to become a witness. This is my dharma I am doing. That's it. Onlooker. What is the consequence of that and how it looks like? The performance is done as it could be done. More than that, there's no labeling is done to it as good or bad. शास्त्र को कहना था, मैं शास्त्र बोल लिया, बस हो गया. Improving the knowledge and perfection is different, but the samsara aspect is not there. Onlooker. Little dhanyata ki we could do service to our shastra. That's okay. It will inspire for us in the next class. In this way. Now the bhashya, jnane cha laukikadi visaye, jneye cha laukikado trividhe, purvam laukikam sthulam, tadabhavena paschat shuddham laukikam, tadabhavena lokottaram, iti evam kramena sthanatraya bhavena paramartha satye, turye, advaye, aje, abhaye, vidite, swayam एव आत्मस्वरूपम एव सर्वज्ञता सर्वः च असौज्ञः च सर्वज्ञः तद्भावः सर्वज्ञता इह अस्मिन् लोके भवति महादियः महाबुद्धेः सर्वलोक अतिशय वस्तु विषय बुद्धित्वात् एवं विदः सर्वत्र सर्वदा भवति सकृत् विदिते स्वरूपे व्यभिचारभावात् इति अर्थः न हि परमार्थविदपः ज्ञान उद्भव अभिभवौ स्तः यथा अन्येषां प्रावादुकानाम्. I तो understood. It is easy to understand. Easy means okay, but to explain, to tune you to that and explain one by one line, little struggle that is. But this is how the glory of the Bhashya and Mula Mantra, ki it will sharpen our intellect so much that we are piercing through to understand. But the point is क्या है ना, हमेशा इसी मूड में रहना. A seeker is always in the mood of seeker. हम क्या करते हैं क्लास के बाद दिमाग को के अलग ड्रेस पहन के we become samsari. Thus we don't grow truly, genuinely, deeply. ये भी पीरियड कुछ होता है सबके लिए. Then when all the attachments go away, है ना, then there's a charm of the world. That's called विवेक वैराग्य. Then you remember, अरे इतना पढ़ा हमने, let me experience it also. That time we slowly study line by line. तब वो समझ में आता. So ज्ञाने च लौकिकादि विषये ज्ञेये च लौकिकादौ त्रिविधे पूर्वं लौकिकं स्थूलं तदभावेन पश्चात् शुद्धं लौकिकं तदभावेन लोकोत्तरम् इत्येवं क्रमेण स्थानत्रय अभावेन परमार्थ सत्ये तुर्याद्वयाजि अभेविते स्वयमेव आत्मस्वरूपं सर्वज्ञ सर्वच सर्वज्ञ च सर्वज्ञात् भाव सर्वज्ञ यस्मिन् लोके भवति महदीय भवति. So that vidite word is elaborated by Bhashyakara in this way. I just touch it for 30 seconds and then we'll see tomorrow. What he says is tad abhavena, tad abhavena, tad abhavena. The main word in the Bhasha is abhava. Means what? Discover the abhava of the laukika. Discover the abhava of the shuddha laukika. Discover the abhava is of the slokot. Uttara. That is what is challenged to us. Now they are all bhava. Bhava is bhavati. That's what we were going on saying last 20 minutes. When you see it as real and give the value as real, it appears as real. But by some technique or one technique or any technique or many or all techniques, when we discover the abhavatva, he is giving. Kramena means what? When you discover the abhavatva in the laukika, you enter into Shuddha Laukika. When you discover the abhava of the Shuddha Laukika, you will enter into Lokottara. When you devalue the Lokottara also and discover its abhava, you will enter into the Bhavaatmaka Atma, which is always there. This in the language of Katadi Upanishad, the Laya Prakriya is spoken. The gross has to emerge in the subtle, subtle in the causal, causal in the ultimate causal, and you bypass it and know the self. Eh? इंद्रियाणि पराण्याहु इंद्रियेभ्य परमनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धेः परम बुद्ध्वा. What we see in Gita as well as in Upanishad. यच्छेद वाक् मनसि प्राज्ञः तद यच्छेद ज्ञानमात्मनि ज्ञानमात्मनि महितनि यच्छेद तद यच्छेद शांति आत्मनि. इन अदर वर्ड, स्थूल शरीर को प्राणमय कोश में, प्राणमय को मनोमय में, मनोमय को विज्ञानमय में लय करना, विज्ञानमय के विचार में रहकर थ्रू द विचार एंड कॉन्टेम्पलेशन, bypassing the anandamaya, we have to discover the atma. These are all the different ways said by different gurus in different shastras at different times to different disciples, but the purpose of all of that is one. If you see the snake, you are not able to see the rope. If you see the rope, there is no snake. So first, help yourself in believing in the abha of the snake on the strength of what is said by the guru. Slowly, when you develop the abhavata of the snake, obviously the bhavatmakata of the rope is experienced. Very subtle thought I have conveyed to you now as a last thought. I am always the self, that is always the rope. But the bhavatmaka of the snake and value given to the snake's bhavata made the snake as if really there. To thai ne kabhi. So too the bhavatmakata of these three avasthas and the value given to them are making them appear. Therefore the self is hidden from our own experience. So every one of them, and slowly tadabhavena when we do. And this can be explained for 10 days because इसमें ही सारे बात है. To explain it, I have to tell the essence of all the Upanishads. तभी पकड़ में आएगा. Practically, one or two things are what? As we were saying also last 15 minutes, कि अभाव को पाना है हमको लौकिक का. How do you do the abhav, the laukika? Not take seriously any of the things of the world. Do sincerely, but not take serious. It's a big trait, sorry, the negative word I may use. It's a big technique if we can develop, which we do it in some cases, in some different moods and maturities. कभी कभी bits and pieces में हम करते हैं. Like when your two children are fighting, sometimes you become so involved, बुला के दोनों को बेल्ट से चार देकर आधा घंटा चिल्ला के उनके ऊपर यू मेक शांत. And when you are occupied in your own office work, when they are fighting, you only say one shouting, "Arey, come slowly, lado, don't disturb me." Some other time when you are busy in TV or something, you don't even bother about it also. In that particular issue, the difference between totally involving, semi involving in that, and then very less involving in that. In some other occasion, you are in somewhere else called as office, that you don't even know that the children are fighting at home. Is it not an example understandable? This is about one. So here we have withdrawn from fighting of children because you are involved in fighting with the wife or fighting with friends or doing some business. तो एक से छुटकारा पाकर दूसरे में. But what is the tip for sadhana? For every aspect of the day from morning till evening, remain like that. You will see the meaning of the word abhava. Like slowly, like these classes. Very intensely, rigorously, with so much of commitment, we started. Now it has become so natural, it has become that it is an abhava now. What is an abhava? Guru Kripa, Ishwara Kripa, the satsanga is going on. Whatever the Saragrahanam we have to do, we do from it. And all other, the tensions, worries, anxieties, they're all abhavanam. हो रहा है क्लास पढ़ रहे हैं हम 4-5 लोग आ रहे हैं सुन रहे हैं going on smooth. You understand? In the same way, whether it is international issues happening, national, domestic, religion, कुछ भी हो वो सब अभाव के रूप में देखना हो. It's a very great achievement. As I'm telling, it's a technique to be developed. Fulfilling our own roles, whatever we are supposed to do, and yet remaining in the mood that everything is abhava. And I am the conscious observer of the abhava of everything. You know, the driver of bus, he looks at all the road and other vehicles. He protects his vehicle, but other than that, he has only abhava of all of them. You understand? There are towns come in between, and both sides their shops are there. Thousands of things are there. He will look all of them only to drive his vehicle. More than that, about all of them, what is the feeling in his mind? Abhav. See the technique. Abhav. Devaluing in one word. And one technique which helps to create this abhava is what? Yeah, it is always the same. And it is only repeating. It is repeating from millions of ions from the past. It will continue also in the future. There's nothing new to be excited about. You know, first time when you see the ocean, it is waving up so huge and then the water lashes at you. That excitement first time when the children or anybody taken to the ocean is so different. And the fellows who are there catching machli every day in the ocean, there are abhav only for them. Because they know हम बचपन से देखी जा रहे हैं, हो ही रहा है, हो ही रहा है, हो ही रहा है. In the same way, like people who come first afresh to the class, अच्छा मांडुक्य उपनिषद ऐसा होता है. और आप लोग जो 2 साल से सुन रहे हो, डेली ये हो रहा है, ऐसे ही स्वामी तो खत्म नहीं होंगे, उनका क्लास खत्म नहीं होगा. एंड इज वेरी इंटेलिजेंट कि विल फिनिश ऑल उपनिषद एंड अगेन विल स्टार्ट इन अदर लैंग्वेज. चल ही रहा है अभाव. बस ऐसे टेंशन है, घंटी बजती है तो सारे बच्चे लोग हॉस्टल में खाने के लिए आते हैं. सेम में 7:30 बजते ही हमारा 7:30 ही शुरू हुआ. देन यू कम एंड सिट बिकॉज अभाव. इट्स नो थिंग. ठीक है ये ऐसा ऐसा चल ही रहा है. कितने बाबे लोग आए, कितने उपनिषदों पे, कितना है ना. क्या मेरे से पहले बहुत लोग आए, बाद में भी आएंगे. मुझसे पहले कितने शायर आए और आकर चले गए, है ना. आगे भी बहुत आएंगे. अभाव भाव. There's nothing new. Same hunger, same struggle for food. And in that again struggle for the taste and the quantity and for that looting from others. Same thing. You know, there's nothing new, fresh, important. कुछ नहीं है, ऐसी ही है वो दुनिया बस. हमेशा ऐसा ही था, ऐसा ही, कुछ नया नहीं. ऐसा ज्यादा सोचोगे तो अभाव भाव आएगा. And the result of that abhava bhava is you are in the world is around us, but then we are not entering, allowing the world to enter us, and we are not entering into the world. बस उतना ही. Then those who have gone to the age of 55, 60 and observing the entire world and conscious of their life, they will be entering into abhava bhava easily. Like a teacher in a school, 30 years he taught. No excitement, the new academic started and new students come. हर साल का वही रूटीन है, पढ़ाएंगे वही सब्जेक्ट. No, he is very cool and calm. Is it not? When the children are joined in school, first time by the parents, at the age of 3 and 4, they're so excited. School ले जाएंगे, बिठाएंगे, खाने की चीज लेंगे. Then they watch with their fellow is sitting on it. In half an hour, bang, he will cry. Then they run and they say, आज का क्लास हो गया. And the teachers there, इतने नालायक बच्चों को हर दिन देख ही रहे हैं. See, when you extra value give it, na, it becomes important. and there's nothing to given value extra. जन्म कहो, मरण कहो, बीमारियां कहो, accidents कहो, अरे बड़े बड़े planets only are hitting at each other. What to talk about two vehicles? This you should not say in the public or meetings on the media में. Then they'll call you as a emotionless person. वहाँ जो statement बोलना है वही बोलना है excitement के साथ. But inside you must know. This helps in creating abhava like that. Then the next one, third one, when you find the abhavata of all these three, because they are really abhava, then what is there that is experienced? That's the bhava of the Atma. It is Sarvagna and Sarvatra. That is called Mahadhiya. And that Mahadhi is the who is transcending these three avasthas and dissolving his dhi in the Atma. And other people who think they are Mahadhi, in trying to discover the create secrets of the world and involve in the world, they are not Mahadi, actually they are Buddhu only. Like every scientist from spiritual standpoint is a Buddhu because he is creating such things because which people are becoming more and more samsari. You know, 1 घंटा टीवी चलता था या 3 घंटे शुरू में शाम को 6 से 9, ओनली वन चैनल. 1979 की बात कह रहा मैं, 80s. सम न्यूज विल कम, समथिंग हो गया. आप जितने फर्स्ट टाइम देन सेकंड चैनल केम, यू नो, इट वाज सो एक्साइटेड, इट्स माइंड ब्लोइंग. हाउ कम इन वन स्क्रीन 2 चैनल्स विल कम? देन द टीवी द रेगुलेटर एक को ऐसा करो नंबर 1 आएगा, दूसरा. इट वाज वेरी, कभी दोनों के बीच में फट 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 हो रहा था वो. चैनल 1 चैनल 2 के बीच में. देन यू हैव मोर चॉइस, साइंटिस्ट हैव क्रिएटेड, देन यू आर मोर कॉट अप इन दैट. अब देखो इतने सारे चीज. Mahadhyaya, binding us more and more. We are also Mahadhyaya. We are caught up in so many. This is not Mahadi. Mahadhyaya is he who dissolved his intellect in Atma Anubhava. Before that, he pulled his intellect from all these three avasthas by Abhava Prakriya. What it is tomorrow? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Thank you, friends. God bless you. 10 minutes give me for Vidura Niti.